Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome back here to WagerTalk TV. It is puck time, but it feels like Christmas. I know this is a hockey show, but March Madness is upon us. It's going to be an amazing day of betting, starting with college hoops and then getting into NHL action. I cannot wait for it. Coming off a 2-0 sweep last night in the NCAA action and 4-1 night in the NHL. I'm feeling pretty good. Carmine, what about you?
You had a pretty awesome day. As you got my text message last night, I cut it out early last night. I was tired. I wanted to stay up and watch the games because I know Brian and Prez both had 5% plays and both ended up winning, but they were the late games, and I had an early morning appointment that I just got back from, so I was out of there early. Great night for you, my friend. 1-2 night NHL for me. I got a lot of plays for today, so I'm kind of fingers crossed that my NHL card goes well tonight.
I mean, you've been getting it done, Carm. You've been killing it all month long. So, a so-so night for you. I think you can handle that, Carm. But yeah, we gotta go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah. Listen, it's been a good month in the sense of when I ran the numbers this morning, I'm still, I think it's 76% bankroll gain for the month, which is still number one for the month at WagerTalk. But I want to get that over 100. So I'm going to need a good weekend and a good following week. And I'm excited about today's guest. You're going to bring him in. I kind of joked around in our production group that first time guests need to shave an eyebrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether he did that or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we got that or not, but pleased to welcome Andy Lang into the Puck Time crew. Andy, we've done football props together, NFL show, prop it up every Friday, but welcome to the Puck Time world, my friend.
I actually thought I was logging into the NASCAR show, and I just ended up on the hockey show. So here I am. Carm. Oh, he won't do it. He won't do it.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Those are fantastic eyebrows. Don't do it. Don't do it. Those are fantastic
thanks
eyebrows.
For having me. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I just started adding NHL player props onto my portfolio, and they've been going great, 14-4 since I started. So now I've just combined NBA and NHL player props, and we've been doing great. 3-1 last night. We were 1 Kane point away from sweeping the board. We've had a great week. NHL player props have a ton of value. And thank you for bringing me on. I can't wait to share all this stuff that I've been learning over this season on NHL player props.
We're happy to have you, Andy. And player props are fun. And Andy is not just doing points. He's doing not to get a point. He's doing shots. He's doing all of the above when it comes to NHL points or NHL props. And look forward to hearing some of them here today on the show. And today we are discussing the Flames. They go head-to-head with the Maple Leafs, the Canucks and the Habs, the Blues and the San Jose Sharks. The Rangers go head-to-head with the Capitals, and the Vegas Golden Knights go head-to-head with the LA Kings. And Carm, we're going to start with the Flames and your second favorite team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
The Leafs actually are my second favorite team, Andrew. The other 30 some odd teams are my favorite team. So you do make a point there. Listen, the Leafs have been off since Sunday, losers of 5 of the last 6. And while I want to say it's a sinking ship, it's not. They've run into absolutely hot goaltending. I guess that doesn't really mean much at the end of the day. You've lost 5 or 6, but they ran into Demko, Hellenbuck. It's just been a string of games where the goalies are keeping the other team in, and they're getting just enough scoring that the Leafs are losing those games. I have to think that with this time off, defensively they're going to be better. And this is why I'm going to eventually lean to the under in this game. Calgary's been playing extremely well. You have to give them credit. 3-1 under Sutter, but I expected them to lose that game to Edmonton. The Edmonton team is coming on. This is gonna be a good final 20 games or so in the only minus 160 at home. They're always at that minus 190 to minus 210 type of game. And we remember what happened the last time Calgary was in Toronto. They won that first game 3-0, and then that second game, Leafs got a final minute of the game goal to send it to OT and then win it in OT 2-1, or they could have lost both games to the Flames. And again, they ran into some hot goaltending at that time. I think it was Riddick in net for both those games for the Flames. So it'll be Markstrom tonight. Lean to the under for me here.
I'm happy you brought that up, Carm, because that last game was unbelievable. And it was, again, the exact same thing that we've talked about on this show when it comes to the expression puck luck, and Brian uses it all the time. But when I say puck luck, we can also mean, like Carmine said, running into a hot goaltender, running into a goaltender like Thatcher Demko that was just playing so well. And they've really seen that, this Toronto Maple Leafs team. But to Carmine's point, this Maple Leafs team, they had their week where they're not playing for 4 or 5 days. They are not playing pretty much for the bulk of the start of the week. And to me, this team may have needed that. I'm not saying they're mentally weak, but I'm saying a few practices might have been good for them. A few meetings might have been good for them. A few film sessions might have been good for them. Also, some more time for some players to get back and get healthy. Wayne Simmons is actually going to be slotted into the lineup. I just found that out. He has been cleared, to my belief. So he's a huge factor to the team. He brings a lot of aggression. He also brings some grit, but also some skill. And can get into those dirty areas. And honestly, Carm, when I look at this, and Andy, I think that the Flames, everybody thought they were something better and so much better with the coaching change. And I think that was a momentary thing. That was not going to be something that would last forever. And of course, you get a new coach. He changes a few things. They make some changes that positively impact your team. But 2 of those wins against Montreal were catching them at the very end of a road trip. One of them was they only had 4 hours of sleep, and they had 22 hours time since their last game. And they play an Edmonton team that was ready for revenge after their last game. I'm not buying what they're selling, guys. I think this price is way too good to be true. We have seen a lot of overtimes lately in the NHL, guys. So I'm going to go with the -1 with the Maple Leafs and split my bet. A half bet on the puck line and a half bet on the money line here. And you'll get a pretty decent price there on that -1. Andy, are there any props or any spots that you found here as far as the Flames and the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, actually, there is one that I really like in this one, and it kind of goes to show several things that I would like to just tell the prop bettors out there is most of the time you'll see guys wagering on overs. Don't ignore the unders. There are a lot of unders to be found on shots on goal, and this Flames team, there's not a lot of overs to be found. Their unders hit. They're only averaging 2.73 goals a game. They only have one person in double digits with goals scored this season. So when I look at a team like the Flames, I'm taking unders, and I do like Johnny Gaudreau under 2.5 shots. He had 3 last game, but this is a 9-2 streak of under 2.5 shots on goal. You're getting -155. And in the prop world, when you see these streaks, they normally go on for a really long time. And the value most of the time is going to be on these unders. So when you have a team that isn't shooting a lot and you have a team that's not scoring a lot, I like to look at some of these unders shots on goal. I will also like to point out there's a really funny one prop going on in this game. Mitchell Marner, in his last 8 games, 4 times he's had 1 shot. The other 4 games, 5 or more. So it's like he comes out and decides he's going to shoot every time he touches the puck. And then the next night he's like, I'm going to be distributor this night. So betting on him is next to impossible. But yeah, I really like the under on that 2.5 shots prop.
Great stuff there. Gaudreau under 2.5 shots. And like Andy said, don't be afraid to look under on these plays. And like you said, Andy, these guys, that's crazy about only one player in the double digits as far as goals go. We're going to move into the Canadiens game against the Canucks. And I'm going to start with you, Andy, with the prop on this game if you do have one for us. But it's actually been a very interesting battle between these two teams because what I've noticed is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed a lot of the same players have collected points when these two teams have faced. Is there any trend here? The trend is your friend, as you said. Is there anything you found here?
Yeah, there's a couple not strong plays, but leans. The first one, Brendan Gallagher under 3.5 shots on goal. He does shoot a lot, but this total has gone under 8 out of the last 10 games. So you're getting good value on there. And then Quinn Hughes to not have a point. The reason I lean towards that is you're getting plus 100. He hasn't had more than 1 point in a game since February 2nd. So it's not like he's really putting up a ton of points. And the last 11 games, he hasn't had a point in 6 of those. Against Montreal, they scored 1 goal in each game. There's value at plus 100 to not have a point. Like I said, most of the value on these props are going to be on the unders. Sometimes it's hard to root for unders because you're just worried that he's going to get a shot off or he's going to get that nice pass. But I'm not afraid of it. So, yeah, a couple leans on unders when you get inflated prices.
Good stuff there, yeah. And I like the unders because people do not like to bet them, Andy. So I'm happy that you're giving out some of those unders as well. Vancouver 6-1 their last 7, 1-5 their last 6 against Montreal, and 1-8 their last 9 on the road against Montreal. Guys, I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying over the past probably 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm sure Carmine and Prez especially would probably be saying this could be applicable for the entire season. The Canadiens do not deserve to be this big of favorites. But what people have to understand is the betting markets, the odds makers, they want to get action on both sides. That is their objective. And people are willing to pay this price with the Montreal Canadiens. And myself, as a fan, as someone that backs this team every now and then, I do not think this is a great spot to back them at this number here. I'm looking at this game from a total standpoint. I actually bet the over in both of the games for Montreal against Winnipeg, guys. I just thought it was going to be kind of a right the ship game for Montreal after they played some up and down, inconsistent, sloppy hockey. And I found that they almost needed to score some goals to get their confidence back. And the pace of play was a little bit different for them. But I feel like against Vancouver, a team that, as we've seen over their past couple games, even against Ottawa, they've really been playing defensive, smart hockey, protecting the puck out of their own end. And as a 6 as the total tonight, I'll go with the under here, Carm. So last night, if you were an under better, you had a great night. And I feel like tonight we'll see that here when the Habs play the Canucks.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. You know, when you look at those, if people are just standings bettors, as I call it, and you just look at, some of the results from earlier in the season, you can't really take that into consideration because at the beginning of the season, Montreal were playing as if they were the best team in this North Division. Vancouver was struggling, and you look at those score lines in those games, and they played 3 games. Where was it? 3 games in Vancouver, I believe. The scores were like 6-5, 7-3, 5-2. Just some crooked score lines. The last couple of games are probably more of an indication of how these two teams will play. 2-1 games, a 2-1 game, and a 5-1 game. You know, Montreal's coming off a road trip, and we talked about that. While the travel in the North is probably, of all the divisions, is probably the worst one because you see teams going from East Coast to West Coast, unlike we're seeing in the U.S. But Montreal, 2 road trips so far. Their first game back, 5-1 scoreline, 4-2 scoreline, and a 3-1 scoreline. But they're also 2-0 in those games coming off a road trip. Which is surprising when you consider Andrew, I'm not sure if you're aware of this because you're a Montreal fan, but you should be aware of this. They have the worst home record in the North, which is hard to believe for this team. Vancouver 6-9 on the road thus far this year, 6-7-2 to the over. So there's not much there, but still, I think a tight checking game stays under the total. Vancouver's just come off of 2 3-2 overtime games over Ottawa, so they're sort of leaning to the under right now in some of their games. 6 is too much for me. Give me the under in this one.
Well, let's capture this moment. Let's hit record and call it a show. Carmine and I are on the same page. Carmine and I agree together. Always nice to have that. Let's hope it is a good thing anyway, Carm. But yeah, as far as the home ice advantage goes, they have not been good at home at all. And, it's funny because a lot of people might not realize this, but the advantage is not just being at home and having your home fans when they are there. But in hockey, when you're the home team, you get the last change. You get to decide which guys you want going up against the opposition. The other team has to send out their players and then your coach sends out their players after. So it's a huge advantage. Also, you are the second player to put down your stick when it comes to faceoffs. So it's not just the fact of being at home. There are supposed to be two separate advantages to being at home. And right now, the Montreal Canadiens are a far better team on the road. So we'll see how that game pans out. But Carmine and I both like the under in this game. The Sharks and the Blues go head-to-head here tonight. And this is a Blues team, Carm, that I have been so up and down on all season. Line open at -160, current number -145, Sharks +125, underdogs. Where do you go here in this game?
Yeah, it's such a tough game, Andrew, in the sense of, like, listen, the Blues have lost 5 straight games. And you just think, is it puck luck? Okay, 3 of them came. The first 3 losses came against LA, San Jose, and Vegas in overtime. So you just wonder about that whole puck luck thing. But then, 5-1 loss to the Knights, another 4-1 loss to the Kings, who played extremely well that game. And yet the Blues, despite these losses, you look at it and they still have the best road record in the West. And that's with some damn good teams in Minnesota, Colorado, and Vegas. And they have the best road record right now. And the Sharks have the worst home record. When I looked at some of these games yesterday, I thought to myself, I like the Blues. I don't want to lay more than -150 on this game, because I figured it would open up somewhere around that -130 and -150, and it's sitting at like -145. So I probably will still get to the window on the Blues, because they're a better team. They've got to come around. But every time I say this, you know who I feel like, Andrew? I feel like that guy who's in his boat and it's sinking because it's got a hole, and he's using the teacup to try and get the water out of it. No matter what you do, that boat is going to sink. I hope that's not me with the Blues. I'll be on the Blues tonight.
I hope you don't sink either, Carm. I really don't. But as far as this game goes, I actually like the over. And you can get the over 6 at a +105 price. And as much as I've been talking about unders have been cashing at such a good clip right now, I think these are two teams that people don't want to bet overs with ever, because of what they've known about them for the past several years. And people don't like to have recency bias, but I feel like in the National Hockey League, you have to have it. Just like Andy was saying with the trends, with the props, you have to be able to look at what's happening recently. And for this Blues team, they are missing Gunnarsson, a great defenseman. They are missing Parenko for pretty much the entire season. Those 2 defensemen being out has been huge for this team. They are allowing goals. It's been unbelievable. They're also scoring, but they allowed 4 against LA, 5 back-to-back times to Vegas. A couple times they allowed 6 to San Jose. The last time they played, this is a team allowing goals. And San Jose, they're coming off a 2-game set against the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that's obviously at the top of their division. They make it tough to play against. They have 4 lines that are very tough. And I believe that they will be ready to score some goals here tonight. My play on this game is going to be over 6. It's tough to play the Blues at that price. And I'm sure that's what Carmine's saying, and that we're going to have that little teacup trying to save the boat. But I would lean with Carm as well on the Blues. Just don't really love that price. But for me, over and a small lean to the Blues. Andy, anything here for you?
Probably the toughest game on the card from a prop perspective. You've got 2 teams that are just all over the place. The Sharks against Vegas, one game was 2-1. Most props go under. Next game, 5-4. Most props go over. The Blues only scoring 1 goal in several games. And then you look and go, well, but against San Jose, the couple games earlier this year, a lot of high scoring games. Well, yeah, that was a long time ago, much earlier in the season. Tough game. It's going to be a pass. If I have to make a lean, Logan Couture to not have a point. He's gone 3 games in a row with no points. It's not going to make my card. I'm not going to bet on it. It's just one of those games from a props. There's going to be value on many other games. So this is a pass for me.
Let's get into our dump or chase segment here today on this Friday show. And I found this one was an interesting one for our dump or chase segment, guys, simply because I don't think I've ever created a segment for dump or chase with the odds being this low. Carm, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Capitals are -140. The Rangers are playing some decent hockey right now. They've been able to, obviously they're off a 9-0 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. The game prior to that, they only lost by 1. The game prior to that, they won 4-0 against Boston. Is this a team turning it around, Carm, or is it just a little bit of good play, a little bit of quality hockey, and soon enough they'll be back where we saw them a couple weeks ago? Do you agree with this price, or is it a clear chase for you on the Capitals?
I'd have to lean with the Caps here. I'm confused by the price as well, too. Maybe I'm completely missing something. I don't see any players out. The goaltending is what it's going to be. Listen, the Caps are on like a 13-3 run right now. So, and you're only laying a $1.35 at home against them. 7 of those wins, of 7 of the 13 wins, because when you sort of look at that strength of schedule, 7 of the 13 wins are against top 4 or top 5 teams. You take themselves out of the equation, and the next 4 teams in the standings are who 7 of those wins came against. So they weren't playing bottom feeders to get to those 13 wins. Rangers are 2-0 against the Caps this year. I'm looking at this game from a totals perspective, to be honest with you. You look at it, and the Caps overs are 9-4 at home. I get that. The Rangers have been a good under team, 59.3% to the under this year. A little while back, they led the league at 68.7% unders. But now you look at this total, and I'm confused that this total is actually 6.5. I never thought I'd see a 6.5 in a Rangers game. I get it, they're playing Washington, but with the Rangers being at 59.3% to the under so far, if you looked at all of their games that they've played and then you applied a 6.5 total, that 59 now becomes 64.1%. It goes up by 5% on this total. You look at the Caps, they're hitting 62.1% of their overs, but with a total of 6.5, that drops 7 points. If you take every single game into consideration, drops down to 55.1. It tells me that a lot of these games are landing in and around that 6. And this is one of the reasons why at 6.5, and it's shaded to -120, I want to take the under here. And any change in that juice, and I think that it was mentioned on Twitter, and I said, once that juice on the under gets to about 125, 130, the books will adjust the line to 6 with an over of about 118 to 120 juice on that over 6, and that's likely where this line's going to go. So if you like the under, take it now. If you like the over, wait, because that will go to 6.
I'm right there on the exact same page as Carm. I tweeted out yesterday the clip that these 6.5s are going under. It's now 58% on the season. Total set at 6.5 are going under. People love to bet the overs, like Andy said off the top of the show. They love to bet over the total. They love to see 2 teams that can score and try and get to 7 goals or 8 goals and see what they can do. But just like we saw yesterday with the Edmonton Oilers game, there's going to be defensive hockey. There's going to be hot goaltenders. And sometimes to get to 7, you need a lot of power plays. You need a lot of turnovers. And between these 2 teams right now, I do not think you'll get that. I talk about recency being a good thing, guys, but I don't think recency is a good thing tonight. And the Rangers, they've kind of been inflated. That game against Philadelphia, 9-0, I'm putting that one out the window. You can't count that towards recency because it seemed like the Flyers kind of just gave in with that one. But I will chase with the Capitals -140. That price is too good to be true. Andy, what are you finding here in this game?
Well, Washington's been on a tear for props, going over 5 or more goals in 4 of their last 6 games. So anytime you're getting 5 goals in a game, shots on goal are going to go over, points are going to go way over for everyone. And the Rangers, this is another really inconsistent team from a prop betting perspective. I mean, in March, they won 3 games in a row against Buffalo and New Jersey where they scored 15 goals combined. And then they lost 3 games in a row to Pittsburgh and Boston where they scored 3 goals total. And then they have the bizarre 9-0 game. Just a lot of consistency with them props-wise. But for me, when Washington is playing, you got to look at overs, especially when they're on a streak right now. Forgive me if I butcher this guy's name. Is it Kuznetsov? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, you got that. Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov, you got it right.
I have him to score a point it's only minus 125. That's a great price. He's on a nice little point scoring streak. He's got a point in 5 straight games. In the last 2 games, he's had 3 shots on goal. So I know the Rangers can go under quite a bit, but when I have a team like Washington who's just rolling in the points, I'm going to look to some of their players. And minus 125 is a fantastic price on that prop for this game.
That is a great price. Let's get a Capitals win. Let's get a prop hit for Andy, and let's get the under 6.5, and it'll all be a Merry Christmas. We'll have a great day here today. But
love it.
Minus 140, like we said, Carm, is just a pretty cheap price on the Capitals. I can't really pass that up. The barn burner game, guys, is going to be the Knights and the Kings. And I'm curious what you think about this total, Carm. What do you think about the way this was set? It's at 5.5. Vegas Golden Knights have been scoring. They've also been involved in some games. Andy's talking about shot counts. They have been involved in some games with some high shot counts. And LA comes into this one. They lose 4-1. Next game, they win 4-1. I mean, it's hard to find any consistency levels with this team. So that's why I've kind of struggled to play totals with the LA Kings.
Yeah, no, I get it. Listen, I talked about the Kings and where earlier in the season we saw them when they played teams like the Colorados or the Vegas teams. They try to instill their way of playing, which was sort of, clog up the neutral zone, keep shot counts to a minimum. And we would see some games where the shots on goal were like 19-18 and 22-21 and what have you. But this is a very good skating team. They have a lot of upside for the years to come, as we've talked about. And they played extremely well in that game against the Blues. I thought they could upset the Blues. The Blues were favored in that game, and you could get plus 130 on the Kings. I think it was plus 135. And I thought that was a great price because I thought they would win that game, which they did. Now they catch a Vegas team that this Vegas team is hot. We're setting up for, this Vegas team are putting together a nice little streak. Colorado, who won again last night against Minnesota, put together a little streak, and these teams will meet on March 25th. I'm looking forward to that. Are there any flat spots off of that? You could possibly say this could be a flat spot for a Vegas team after 2 games and an emotional one where they came back with 4 in the third period when you had that huge money line on them against the Sharks, and then you hit the road, and sometimes you hit the road and it just doesn't go the way you want it to go. And we saw that happen in Minnesota, where they went to Minnesota, and I'm not saying the Kings are Minnesota by any stretch of the imagination. I just think it might not be their best defensive effort. And if it's not, and you like Vegas to win the game, then there's going to be some goals in this game. 5.5 is good enough for me. I'm going to take the over here.
It's a good number. Carm likes the over in this one. Is there a play for you in this game here, Andy?
Yeah, actually, I'll save my favorite play for best bet, but I lean Pacioretty under 3.5 goals. It's plus money, and he's gone under this total 4 out of 5 games. You're nervous in a game like this to take any under on shots, but when they say the trend is your friend, sometimes it's best to kind of go against the grain, maybe make a play that most people would say, oh, that's going way over. So yeah, I will take the plus money under his shots on goal. 3.5 is a big number. So since it's hit 4 out of 5 games, I think the value is at the plus money.
I got to ask you, Andy, if you, in your experience doing these props, and especially with the shots on goal, I find there's a lot of value in those. Have you found that you've still been able to get some of these shots on goal props, even in games that ended up being low scoring? Is it always correlated with a high scoring game with the shot props, or sometimes you run into a hot goaltender, it could be a 3-1 game, but a lot of shot totals gone over?
Yeah, so when I'm doing my research, I start with 3 things. I look at how many goals and shots the team is allowing and what their opponent is doing, and then you look at the individual, obviously. And yeah, the final score doesn't always indicate. I think you can look at a lot of bad teams and take unders. I'm talking to you, Buffalo. So I was really bummed because I had loaded a play Reinhardt the other day to not have a point, and then the game got postponed and it got taken off the board, and my bet got voided and I didn't realize it. So, of course, did he score a point? Absolutely not. That play has gone under. He's gone 5 games in a row without a point. So when you're looking at teams that just don't score a lot of goals, it seems obvious to say, but when you're not scoring goals, there's not a lot of points to be had. So that's a great spot to do unders. And I gotta say, the MVP for my props is teaching me how to Dougie Hamilton. He now has a point in 10 straight games, 10-0.
Wow.
He's just been incredible. Dougie, he's my MVP.
You just got to find that Derrick Henry, man, from the season. That's your hockey Derrick Henry for the prop market here. We're just happy to have you on the show, Andy. We hope to have you back again on the show, and keep up the great work, man. I watch your videos you post on Twitter every day. I think everybody should check out Andy on Twitter at BumSports. It's just a great follow, and you're always producing content as well, free picks. So I think everybody out there should definitely appreciate that you're not only selling your plays and have them up at WagerTalk, but you're also posting some free plays on Twitter. So without further ado, Andy, give us your power play, as we call it, your best bet, and any promos you have for tonight.
Well, I don't have a promo code, but I have combined NBA and NHL player props into one package. I don't know if anybody's noticed, there's a tournament going on in the NCAA, which everyone is paying attention to. So I'm trying to get some attention on props. And the biggest play for me today is Dustin Brown over 2.5 shots. It's juiced to -155. I don't care. He's gotten over 2.5 shots 9 games in a row. Last game against Vegas, he had 4 shots in that game. Everything. I woke up this morning and thought, oh, it's going to be -200, -205. I was stunned to see it's only -155. Sounds like a lot, but 9 games in a row in a game that seems to be a shootout. That's my favorite. Dustin Brown over 2.5 shots.
Dustin Brown over 2.5 shots. What a streak that is. Love the play. Carm, what do you have for a power player today?
Yeah, listen, we are 10-2 this week in these best bets. So it's been a good 3 days. We could have been 11-1, but we had a phantom goalie interference call in that Nashville, the Predators-Panthers game or whatever yesterday. That in the first period, they took a goal off the board. So I'm a little sour about that one. But 10-2 this week, and we're definitely going to have Andy back on again. Love his stuff, so we have to have him on. I'm going to go back to that first game that we talked about. I do not want to lay the price with Montreal. I think it's too high, but I do like the Habs to win in OT. Not in OT, in regulation time here, and you only have to lay $1.20 on them. So it's going to be Montreal Canadiens. Off the road trip, they're 2-0 so far off these road trips, and both games were won in regulation time. I'll take that. I'll take them to make that 3 in a row now. Habs regulation time -120.
And anything across the board in other sports, soccer, or anything else you want to promote, Carm?
Yeah, three pack up right now in soccer. That goes this afternoon, 3:30 start. If you're not watching NCAA, which you probably will be, but you can always still have action on the side. $1.01 in soccer is the same as $1.01 in basketball. Nobody will stop you from spending that money. Hockey card should be up just after the show. 3 plays up, and I'm adding a 4th once I'm done as well too. So that'll be four plays up for tonight.
Yeah, Carm, that's exactly what I was telling people during the Korean baseball season. I'll be back handicapping it this year. I'm already ready to go with it, already researching it. $1 made and $1 spent on Korean baseball is the exact same as $1 made on any single sport. And that's what we would say on the Prop It Up show as well. And I'm sure Andy can agree with me that $1 made anywhere in the sports betting world is better than losing. So what a great day so far. Carmine's taken the Habs as his best bet. Love to see that. Having Andy on the show. Love to see that. It's Friday. It's March Madness. I love the NHL slate for tonight. I'm going with the under 6.5, the Capitals-Rangers game. Like I said, these 6.5s are hitting at an unbelievable clip. But more than just that, the Capitals are on an unbelievable run right now. But people are sleeping on the fact that when they're on their run, they're actually playing some relatively good defensive hockey. Not every game. They're falling into some high-scoring games. But sometimes they're playing lockdown hockey. They're allowing just 1 goal here, 2 goals here. And I feel like this might be an opportunity where New York is feeling just a little bit too good about themselves. And they might have wasted a few of those goals in garbage time against Philadelphia. Under 6.5 for me with the Rangers and the Capitals. I have a best bet up in the NCAA March Madness. It goes at 5 o'clock today, and I'll have a best bet up posted after the show for the NHL. But as far as today's power plays go, Rangers, Capitals under 6.5 for me. Carmine, Canadiens in regulation, and Andy Lang, Dustin Brown over 2.5 shots, minus 155. For Carmine, for Andy, I am Andrew. Have a great weekend. Best of luck, and gamble responsibly, guys, with March Madness. It's just like anything else. Gamble responsibly, and have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday for Puck Time.
Looking to get the edge when betting on the ponies? Get access to all of SIG's reports now through the Belmont Stakes for only $169. You will get approximately 5 sheets per week for the next 15 weeks at $75 $9 reports. That comes out to a $675 value if purchased daily, saving you $506, and you'll have total access to SIG's horse racing selections through Derby prep season, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes.